There is a question that pierces the veil of time and touches the silent center of your soul. What if money were not something to be conquered, but something to be remembered? What if abundance were not outside, waiting for you, but already pulsing within your energetic field, awaiting only a shift in frequency to manifest? In this exact moment, as these words reach your consciousness, something far greater than the mind can comprehend is happening. You did not find this message by chance. There is no chance in the quantum universe. There is only resonance. And you resonated with this field because a part of you, the part that never forgot who you truly are, knows that you are ready to remember. Money, this energy that humanity has spent millennia trying to understand, control, and accumulate, has never been what we thought it was. It is not paper. It is not metal. It is not a number in a bank account. Money is a vibrational frequency that exists in the same quantum field where all possibilities rest, waiting to be collapsed by the consciousness of an observer. And you, right now, are about to become that observer. For centuries, we have been taught that money comes from effort, from struggle, from the sweat of our brow, that it is necessary to work hard, sacrifice, compete. But what if this collective belief were just a program, software running on the operating system of human consciousness, creating the same reality repeatedly, generation after generation? What if it were possible to uninstall this program and access a different source code? A code where abundance is not scarce but infinite? Quantum physics has already proven something that mystics have always known. The observer affects the observed. Consciousness is not passive. It does not merely witness reality. It creates it, shapes it, collapses it from an infinite ocean of possibilities. And when you change the frequency of your consciousness, you literally change what the universe can deliver to you. There is a field, an invisible field, vibrant, pulsating with pure energy. In this field, all versions of your life already exist simultaneously. The version where you live in infinite abundance. The version where you are free from all financial limitation. The version where money flows to you like water flows to the ocean. Natural, inevitable, effortless. These versions are not fantasies. They are as real as the chair you are sitting in now. The only difference is that they exist at different frequencies. And here is the secret that few understand. You do not need to create these realities. They already exist. What you need to do is become the frequency that allows them to manifest in your three-dimensional experience. You need to stop trying to attract money and start becoming the kind of consciousness that naturally vibrates at the same frequency as abundance. Think for a moment. How many times have you already tried to attract money through willpower? How many times have you affirmed, visualized, written goals, performed rituals? And how many times did you feel that subtle emptiness, that feeling that something was missing, that you were trying to convince the universe of something you yourself did not completely believe? That emptiness was not lack of faith. It was the echo of an identity that had not yet changed. Because the quantum field does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And when there is dissonance between who you are being and what you are asking for, the universe cannot deliver. Not because it is denying, but because the frequency is not aligned. If this resonates with you, it is because your soul already knew. It always knew. You are not learning anything new here. You are remembering. Remembering a time before conditioning, before limiting beliefs, before believing you were separate from the infinite source of all that exists. You are remembering that you have always been abundance, that you have always been prosperity, that you have always been the very frequency of unlimited flow. The money you desire already exists. It is orbiting around your consciousness like planets orbit a star. But as long as you identify as someone who does not have, someone who needs, someone who is separate from abundance, you create a gravitational field that repels exactly what you most want to attract. This is not a message about techniques. It is not about steps or strategies. It is about a silent revolution that happens in the deepest layers of your being. It is about the moment when you stop chasing and start embodying. The moment when you stop asking permission from the universe and start remembering that you are the universe itself, experiencing itself through a human form. Keep listening. Something in you is awakening, something that has been asleep for a very long time. And as this consciousness expands, you will realize that you never needed to learn to be abundant. You only needed to stop pretending you were not. The quantum field of money exists. It has always existed. And now in this sacred moment, you are being invited to enter it. Not as a beggar asking for alms, but as a king returning to his throne, as a queen remembering her crown, as infinite consciousness playing at being human for a brief and precious instant in the eternal now. To truly understand what is happening here, we need to dive into the depths of what science calls the quantum field, that invisible ocean of pure energy from which everything emerges and to which everything returns. This is not a metaphorical concept. It is a physical reality proven by decades of experimentation in quantum mechanics. At the subatomic level, matter is not solid. It is composed of particles that exist simultaneously in multiple states, in multiple places, until the moment they are observed. This phenomenon, known as quantum superposition, means that before observation, a particle exists as a wave of probabilities. It is not here or there. It is in all possible places at the same time. And then, in the instant that consciousness focuses on it, the wave collapses and the particle assumes a definite position. What does this mean for you? It means that the reality you experience is not fixed. It is malleable, it is responsive, and the agent that determines which possibility manifests is not chance. It is consciousness. It is you. When quantum physicists talk about the observer effect, they are describing something revolutionary. Consciousness is not a passive spectator in the theater of reality. It is the director, the screenwriter, and the protagonist. And when you change the frequency of your observation, you literally change what can manifest on the stage of your life. Money, like everything else in this universe, is energy, and energy vibrates at specific frequencies. There is a frequency for scarcity. It feels heavy, contractive, dense. And there is a frequency for abundance. It feels expansive, fluid, luminous. These frequencies are not abstractions. They can be measured. Neuroscience has already demonstrated that different emotional states create different brainwave patterns. The heart generates an electromagnetic field that can be detected meters away. You are, literally, an antenna transmitting signals to the quantum field every second. And here is where magic meets science. The quantum field responds to the frequency you are transmitting. If you vibrate in scarcity, fear of not having enough, anxiety about the future, belief that money is difficult, you are collapsing the waves of probability into experiences that reflect that frequency. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because the universe is a perfect mirror. It can only reflect back what you are emanating. But when you change internally, when you begin to vibrate at the frequency of abundance even before seeing any physical evidence, something extraordinary happens. The quantum field begins to reorganize circumstances, encounters, opportunities. It begins to collapse parallel realities where abundance is already your natural experience. And these realities begin to bleed into your current timeline, manifesting as synchronicities, as doors that open, as money that appears in unexpected ways. You are remembering, not learning. Because at some deep level you have always known this, you have always known that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of them. What happened was that you were conditioned to forget. Conditioned by society, by family, by culture that says you need to struggle, that you need to deserve, that you need to prove your worth before you can receive. But the quantum field does not work that way. It does not ask if you deserve. It does not judge if you are good enough. It simply responds to your vibration. And when you stop asking for permission and start identifying as abundance, the universe has no choice but to confirm that identity through physical manifestation. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by creating new neural connections, shows us that you can literally reprogram your mind. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is sculpting neural pathways in your brain. If you have spent years thinking about scarcity, you have created neural superhighways of limitation, but the brain is not stuck. It is fluid, and with conscious repetition, you can create new pathways of prosperity, of worthiness, of unlimited flow. The quantum field does not need to be created. It has always been there. What changes is your tuning. It is like a radio that has always been surrounded by hundreds of broadcast stations, but can only hear the one it is tuned to. You have always been surrounded by infinite abundance. It has always been broadcasting. You just were not on the right frequency to receive it. And here is the secret that dissolves years of struggle. You do not need to make abundance happen. You need to allow it to happen. You need to stop blocking the natural flow with beliefs of unworthiness, with stories about why you cannot have, with fear that there is not enough. When you remove the blocks, and they are always internal, never external. The universe has no choice but to flood your life with the abundance that has always been yours by birthright. Identity is everything. Not what you do, not what you have, but who you are at the deepest level of your being. Because the quantum field is not reading your actions, it is reading your frequency, and your frequency is determined by your identity, by the story you tell yourself about who you are and what is possible for you. When you change that story, when you stop identifying as someone who needs to struggle for survival and start recognizing yourself as infinite consciousness, playing in the field of unlimited abundance, everything changes. Not tomorrow, not when you finally do the right thing, but now, in this moment. Because in the quantum realm there is no linear time. There is only the eternal now. And in this now you are free to choose which version of yourself you want to collapse into reality. And now, we arrive at the portal, the moment where knowledge transforms into gnosis, where information becomes revelation, where you stop understanding and begin to know. Close your eyes for an instant, not literally, but internally. Let the analytical mind rest. Because what is about to be revealed cannot be comprehended by the intellect. It can only be felt. It can only be embodied. It can only be lived. Everything you have ever wanted already exists, not as a future possibility, not as a reward for good behavior, but now, in this exact moment, at some frequency in the quantum field, there is a version of you that already lives in the abundance you desire, that already has financial freedom, that already experiences the unlimited flow of resources. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is as real as you are now. The only difference between you and that version is frequency. It is vibration. It is the state of being you are inhabiting in this moment. And here is the truth that liberates. You do not need to become worthy of that version. You do not need to do anything to deserve it. You only need to become it. You only need to start vibrating at the same frequency it is vibrating. How do you do this? Not through effort, not through willpower, but through surrender, through allowing, through releasing the need to control how the money will come, and simply opening yourself to the truth that it is already coming. Remain in this field for a few more moments, because something is changing within you. Something so subtle that the mind may not notice but the soul certainly feels. A quantum reorientation is happening. The particles of your energetic field are reorganizing. And when you leave this moment, you will no longer be the same person who entered it. Creation is not effort. Creation is alignment. You do not create abundance. You align with the frequency where abundance already is. You do not manifest money. You become the kind of consciousness through which money flows naturally, inevitably, without resistance. Think of the sun. The sun does not try to shine. It simply shines because shining is its nature. When you align with your true nature, which is abundance, which is prosperity, which is unlimited flow, you stop trying to attract and begin to radiate. And when you radiate, the universe has no choice but to reflect that radiation back to you multiplied. You are not creating the new. You are remembering what has always been. Every particle of the universe already recognizes your name. Every atom of abundance is already tuned to your frequency. What was missing was not the money out there. It was the permission in here. The permission to receive, the permission to have, the permission to be. And now, in this sacred moment, you are giving that permission to yourself, not because someone authorized you, but because you finally remembered that you never needed authorization. You have always been free. You have always been abundant. You have always been the very source of the prosperity you were seeking. Feel this, not with the mind, but with the body, with the cells, with every fiber of your being. There is a sensation of expansion happening now, a sensation that the invisible walls that limited what you thought was possible are dissolving, and in their place, there is space, infinite space, space to receive, space to have, space to be more than you ever allowed yourself to be. Keep listening. Something in you is awakening, and as it awakens, you realize that you were never asleep. You were just pretending to be small, pretending to be limited, pretending that you needed to struggle for survival when, all along you were life itself, creating and recreating itself in infinite form. The money you desire is not coming from outside. It is emerging from within, from the quantum field that permeates every cell of your body, from the fertile void where all possibilities rest. And when you stop looking out there and start recognizing the source within, The game changes completely. You become the magnet, not because you are trying to attract, but because you stopped repelling, because you released the resistance, because you surrendered control, because you finally trusted that the universe is not testing you but conspiring in your favor. It always has been. You just could not see because you were looking through the lens of separation. But now the lens has changed, and through this new vision, you see what has always been there, an infinite field of abundance waiting to be recognized. Not conquered, not deserved, but recognized, remembered, embodied. You are already vibrating differently. It may not feel like a dramatic change, but at the quantum level, everything has changed. The neural pathways in your brain are reorganizing. The electromagnetic field of your heart is transmitting a new frequency. And the universe is receiving that transmission and beginning to reorganize circumstances to reflect that new frequency back to you. Return to this message whenever you want to remember who you are. Because forgetting is natural in this dense world, but remembering is too. And each time you return to this space, to this field, to this frequency, you anchor more deeply the truth of your being. And what is anchored in being inevitably manifests in having. Now we are going to enter the field. Not theoretically, but experientially. We are going to let the words become energy. We are going to let the concept become sensation, because it is in the sensation that transformation happens. It is in the feeling that frequency changes. Breathe deeply. Let the air enter through your nose. Expand your chest, descend to your abdomen, and as you release, liberate everything that no longer serves. Every belief of limitation, every thought of scarcity, every story about why you cannot have. Let it all go with the exhalation, like smoke dissolving in the air. Breathe again, and this time, as you inhale, imagine that you are inhaling golden light, pure light, living light, the very essence of abundance in the form of luminous energy. See this light entering through your nostrils, descending through your throat, expanding in your chest, and as it expands, it begins to dissolve all density, all doubt, all fear. Feel. Do not try to control the sensation. Just observe. There is a lightness beginning to emerge, a space where before there was contraction, and in that space, something new can be born. Imagine now that around your body there is a field of energy, a luminous sphere that extends about 3 feet in all directions. This is your auric field, your personal quantum field, and it is alive, pulsating, vibrant. It is constantly communicating with the larger field, the universal field, telling the universe who you are and what you are ready to receive. See this field filling with golden light. The same light you inhaled now permeates every inch of this energetic field, and as the light spreads, it begins to vibrate at a specific frequency. The frequency of abundance, the frequency of prosperity, the frequency of unlimited flow. Stay here. This is the point where time stops, where past and future dissolve, and only the eternal now exists. And in this now, you are not someone who is trying to manifest abundance. You are abundance. You are the very frequency that money recognizes and to which it naturally flows. Breathe this truth. Let it descend from the mental layers to the cellular layers. Every cell of your body is listening. Every atom is reorganizing. You are not convincing yourself of something that is not true. You are remembering a truth that has always been, but was temporarily forgotten. Now, feel in the center of your chest a light turning on, as if there, in the space of the heart, there existed a small star, and this star begins to grow, to pulsate, to radiate, and with each pulsation, it sends waves of golden light through your entire body and beyond it, through your energetic field, expanding into the space around you. This light is your vibrational signature. It is the unique frequency that only you can emit. And when you allow it to shine without restrictions, without shame, without doubt, the entire universe conspires to amplify it. People, circumstances, opportunities, resources, everything begins to move toward this light. Because light attracts, not through effort but through nature. Keep breathing. And with each inhalation, see the star in your heart grow larger. With each exhalation, see the light expand farther, until there is no longer separation between you and the field. You are the field. The field is you. And in this state of unity, manifestation is not something you do. It is something that simply happens, naturally, inevitably. like breathing. Feel abundance not as something that is coming, but as something that is already here, filling the space around you, vibrating in the air you breathe, pulsating in the walls, in the floor, in the light entering through the window. Everything is abundance when you look through the eyes of expanded consciousness. Everything is prosperity when you remove the filter of separation. And now, with this perception, with this sensation, with this frequency anchored in your body, make a silent declaration, not with words, but with being. Declare internally, I am abundance. I am prosperity. I am the unlimited flow of life expressing itself in human form. And the universe hears. Not because you said the right words, but because you became the frequency that the words only try to describe. Breathe and feel the entire universe breathing with you. Feel that there is no separation between your field and the larger field. You are not asking the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through you. And what does the universe want for itself? Expansion, expression, infinite abundance. This is not an exercise you do once and forget. It is a state to which you return whenever you notice you have left it. And each time you return, it deepens, anchors more, becomes more natural, until one day you realize you are no longer trying to vibrate in abundance, you simply are being abundance. And when you are, having becomes inevitable. Stay here for a few more moments, in this silence, in this peace, in this certainty, because this is your home, this is your natural state, and the more you inhabit here, the more the external world reorganizes itself to reflect this internal reality. The entire universe is listening to your silence. And in silence, truth resonates louder than any word ever could, and so we arrive at the end that is not an end, because what was awakened here cannot be awakened again. What was remembered cannot be completely forgotten. Something has changed, not in external circumstances, yet, but in the place where all external changes begin, in the field of consciousness. You came here seeking something, perhaps answers, perhaps techniques, perhaps the secret key that would unlock the doors of abundance. But what you found was something greater. You found yourself, not the small, limited, conditioned version you were taught to believe you are, but the true version, the infinite version, the version that always knew there is no separation between you and everything you desire. The quantum field of money exists. It has always existed. It is here now, vibrating around you, within you, as you, and the only thing that ever prevented you from accessing it completely was the illusion that you were separate from it, the illusion that you needed to do something to deserve what has always been yours by nature. But now you know, not just intellectually, but viscerally, cellularly. You know that you are not a beggar in a stingy universe. You are the very creative consciousness experiencing itself through a temporary form. And as creative consciousness, you have access to everything that has ever existed in the field of infinite possibilities. The journey does not end here. In fact, it only begins, because knowledge without application is like a seed that never finds fertile soil. And you are the soil. You are the garden. And each time you return to the vibrational state that was anchored here, you are watering that seed. You are allowing it to grow. You are giving permission for abundance to manifest in your life in ways you cannot even imagine now. There will be moments when you will forget, moments when the density of the three-dimensional world will seem more real than the quantum field, moments when fear will whisper that nothing has changed, that you remain the same, that abundance is not for you. And in those moments, come back here, return to this frequency, return to this truth, because it is not going anywhere. It is always here, waiting for you to remember. You do not need to seek anything more. You do not need to learn more techniques. You do not need more information. What you need is simply to be. Be the frequency. Be the abundance. Be the truth of what you have always been, but temporarily forgot. This video has not ended. It continues within you. The words will dissolve from conscious memory, but the frequency remains. It has been encoded in your energetic field. It has been imprinted in your cells. And now, even when you are not consciously thinking about it, it is working, reorganizing, realigning, attracting to you the people, the circumstances, the opportunities that resonate with this new frequency. Transformation is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is silent, subtle, like dawn dissolving the darkness, so gradual that you barely notice until you look around and realize that everything is bathed in light, and so it will be with you. Perhaps you will not wake up tomorrow to a miraculously full bank account, but you will wake up different. You will feel different. And from small internal changes, great external transformations inevitably emerge. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that the universe knows exactly when and how to deliver what you are ready to receive. Your only responsibility is to maintain the frequency. It is to return to alignment whenever you notice you have left it. It is to remember repeatedly that you are not the wave struggling against the ocean. You are the ocean itself, playing at being a wave. The money will come. This is inevitable, because you have changed the frequency that determines what can enter your life. But when it comes, you will realize something surprising. It is not what you truly wanted. What you wanted was freedom, peace, the feeling that you are finally living in alignment with your truth, and that you already have, now, in this moment. Because alignment is not something you conquer. It is something you remember. You are already vibrating differently. The atoms of your body are reorganizing. The electromagnetic field of your heart is transmitting a new frequency, and the universe is receiving that transmission and responding to it. Perhaps you will not see the response immediately, but it is coming. As certain as spring follows winter, as inevitable as dawn follows night. And when you look back in a few months, in a year, you will remember this moment, this turning point, this instant when something within you said yes. Yes to abundance. Yes to prosperity. Yes to the truth of who you truly are. And you will smile, because you will realize that everything that happened afterward began here, in this silence, in this listening, in this remembering. You did not find this video by chance. There is no chance in the quantum universe. There is only the infinite dance of consciousness meeting itself. And today you met yourself, not as a separate person in a hostile world, but as infinite consciousness, unlimited abundance, eternal prosperity recognizing itself through human eyes. Return to this message whenever you want to remember who you are, because between forgetting and remembering, between contraction and expansion, between fear and love, you always have a choice. And the choice you make determines which reality you collapse from the field of infinite possibilities. Choose to remember. Choose to expand. Choose to be the frequency of abundance you came here to embody. And when you choose repeatedly, consistently, with your entire being, the universe has no choice but to reflect that choice back to you in physical, tangible, unquestionable forms. Everything you wanted has always been you. The peace you sought is you. The abundance you desired is you. The freedom you yearned for is you. And now that you know this, not as a concept but as lived truth, nothing needs to be as it was before. You are free. You have always been free. And in that freedom, all things become possible. Breathe, feel, and know that the journey continues, not as a search, but as an unfolding, not as a struggle, but as a dance. And with each step of this dance, you are becoming more fully that which you have always been. The field is with you. The field is you. And whatever comes next, know this: you are not alone. You never have been. You are life itself celebrating itself through you. And so it is. If your soul recognizes this truth, honor it now. Click subscribe, give this video a like, and believe. Allow the universe to continue the work that began here.